I'm coming. How's it going, guys? Welcome to class. You like my outfit? This is my black and blue outfit because I'm so blue that I never get to see you. I kind of look like Abraham Lincoln, I think. Maybe not. Who knows? Who cares? All right. So, what we got going on for us today, guys? Hey, if you have questions on simplifying radicals or multiplying and dividing, continue asking. Okay, I know it could be a difficult concept. Either you get it or you don't. If you're somewhere in between, it's not very likely that you'll be somewhere in between. So please ask me. Right? Either it makes sense or it doesn't. All right, so let's be on the make sense side. Okay, so on the agenda, on the slate today, right here, here's the agenda for Mr. G's class, even with the bright lights. There we go. So we're going to pray here in a little bit. Make sure you keep signing in for attendance on Google Forms by 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. All right, so otherwise, these are the announcements. You guys have a quiz today. All right, 20 points on radicals, multiplying, dividing, simplifying. Okay, so that needs to be in by 3 o'clock today. Right, otherwise you will be getting a 0. Okay, no questions today on those. Right, you need to ask those questions beforehand. All right, so make sure you are preparing and disciplining yourself in advance before class. All right, otherwise it's the topic itself today after you submit your quiz is the Pythagorean Theorem. All right, so make sure you get the quiz in first and then go to the lesson. Pythagorean Theorem, we already have done it this year in class. We did this in chapter 1. So this is all review. All right, the only thing about it is that all of your answers, I'm going to require you to put them in radicals. All right, so simplify your square roots, just like we've been doing this whole chapter so far. Okay, so that's the only difference. Okay, so that's why it's so important to know how to simplify square roots. Anyway, that's all the lesson is for today. We're going to practice a lot more than normal in class. We're going to do like 8 problems in class maybe. And then you're going to submit your homework answers on Google Forms. Right? So your homework answers, I put everything all in one to help you organize yourself a little bit better. All right, so everything in geometry is going to be on one document on that email. The notes, the classwork, the practice, which is classwork, and then the homework. All right, it's all on one document, so you don't need to shuffle papers, open up as many documents. I'm trying to make it as easy for you as possible to organize. All right, otherwise, just make sure you submit your answers on Google Forms. Okay, and those answers, you'll be typing them in. They're not going to be graded per se, just to make sure you have them done. All right, so I will go over the answers. We'll come back to that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's pray. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, continue to pray for all these students watching this video, and all students everywhere, all teachers everywhere, just everybody today in the world. We all need to lean on you more, be more confident in you and your saving power, and to grow in our holiness. So help us grow closer to you. We thank you for all the good things that we have for us in this life, that you are really exposing to us of just how thankful we should have been throughout this whole coronavirus thing, or before the coronavirus thing, of what we should have all been thankful for. So help us to really keep in mind of that now and tomorrow and every single day, even after the coronavirus is done. This is all making us grow so much closer to you, so help us not forget that and to have an attitude of gratitude every single day. So we lift up these prayers to you in gratitude, and also to pray for anything that we might be concerned about, our family, friends, anybody that might be suffering and struggling or lonely. Just please pray for everybody and lift them up, knowing that you're there to push them through and to console us. You are the Prince of Peace, and that's what you want from all of us, to have peace in our hearts. So help us build that relationship with you by having constant communication and prayer with you. So we intercede to your Mother Mary through all this by praying Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thy intercession was left unaided. Inspired with this confidence, I fly to thee, O Virgin of Virgin, my mother. To thee do I come, before thee I stand, sinful and sorrowful. O Mother of thy Word incarnate, despise not our petitions, but in thy mercy hear and answer us. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit, amen. All right, y'all. Let's get my Abe Lincoln hat back on so I can get some teaching in today. So, you have 4 pages, as I said, right? All on one document. Here it is. I have it printed out for you. Just kidding. I can't. I have it printed out for me because it's just me here. Jeez, okay. I have a printer. If you don't, no big deal. All right, so 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Word problems, Mr. G. Yes, word problems. What's the point of doing math if you can't apply it? Okay. So, hopefully you have your quiz done already, right? Right. Otherwise, we cannot proceed. All right, but if not, pause this video and go take it. Thank you. All right, Pythagorean Theorem. Notes. So this is the first page. First page of your notes. This is all, these are your notes. Notes. It's review. We've done it already. We've already taken notes on this in chapter 1. All right, so I'm not overly concerned with taking a whole bunch of time doing it. So it's a review. All right, but here's our Pythagorean Theorem. I'm going to do these on this clipboard in class for our notes. And then I'm going to do these 6 problems as our class examples, so to speak. And then we will do 2 word problems on the back. And that's going to be it. All right, so we're going to try to get this done ASAP. And if I go too fast, what's great about YouTube and doing videos? You can pause it. You can go back. Keep doing that. Some of you are. Nicely done. All right, some of you aren't even watching these videos, and I can tell, so make sure you do. But thank you for all those who are doing it. So here's our notes. What I want you to write down on that first part of those notes, if you printed them off, or just on a sheet of paper, is this. Just the review. All right, so Pythagorean Theorem, we know, is right triangles only. How are we going to get this, Mr. G? There we go. So there we go. There are our notes. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. We know this. We know we can only do Pythagorean Theorem in right triangles, hence the 90-degree angle right there. But yeah, you know this. The A and B are your legs, the 2 shorter sides that are attached to that 90-degree angle. Your hypotenuse is the longest side. That's your C, right? So that is our formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. The Pythagorean Theorem. It's an equation. All right, so there we go. You know this. We've done it. Let's review it, though. Right? So again, if you need to pause this, pause it. Write this down on that piece of paper or on a separate sheet of paper for your notes. But let's do some examples. So we're going to do example 1. Now, for your convenience, I highlighted all of the hypotenuses. Is that plural? Either way, I highlighted all the hypotenuse for you on this worksheet. Right? It's all in pink. Right? So on example 1 and 2, it's x and 13, and then I just keep on going through. Right? If you need to, pause the video. But those are your hypotenuse. Right? Meaning the non-highlighted sides are your legs. Okay? So hopefully that all makes sense. Be careful, because if you can't locate the hypotenuse correctly, you're kind of screwed from the get-go, right? So let's do example 1. The hypotenuse on example 1 right here is x. All right, so I've got 3 and 4. Pythagorean Theorem. Using that, we've got 3 squared. I'm all over the place. So we've got a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which will give us 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. There's my first step. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's just the formula that I use every single time from that notes that we just took down on the whiteboard, right? 3 squared plus 4 squared equals X squared. My C is my X is my C. Same thing, you know. We all know variables by now and how that works. So we've got 9 plus 16 equals X squared. 9 plus 16 is 25 equals X squared. Square root both sides, right? So we're at this step. This is, again, all review. How do you get rid of an X squared? How do you undo it? Square root symbol. We've been doing radicals and square roots this whole chapter so far. All right, so the square root of 25 is 5. Technically, it's plus or minus 5, Mr. G. I know. So X equals 5. Okay, there is our final answer. Moving on to example 2. I'm just going to do this a little bit quicker as far as my setup. It's still A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So this time it's X squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. Be careful. Right? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So this time you have your hypotenuse. So it's 13 squared on your C. All right, so that is our first step. And keep in mind, you can flip-flop your legs. That's why I drew the arrows on our notes. A and B can be switched. Those really don't matter. Commutative property of addition. All right, so if you have 12 squared plus X squared equals 13 squared, same thing. So now I've got X squared plus 144 equals 169. All right, then this time there is subtraction on both sides. So subtract the 144 from both sides. Just use your algebra. X squared equals 25. That's just a coincidence. It's not always going to be that. Square root, X equals 5. And then you have our 2 review problems from this chapter. Okay? Or sorry, from chapter 1. So if you know how to do these 2 problems, you know how to do this whole section today. But now it's just a matter of merging this with simplifying square roots that we've already done. Okay, that's why math is so important to learn the current lesson to help you on the next one. I feel like I say that in every video, in every class. All right, but let's move. Let's move to the classroom. The classroom of my apartment. You guys know what jersey this is? Michael Jordan. For the Wizards. Before your time. Okay. So this is number 1 on that worksheet. Now I'm not going to draw the pictures for every single one of these guys because you can all draw the pictures are already there just for time's sake. So I'm just going to do this first example and we are going to tackle this stuff together. All right, to just review our radicals. So again, I have this on here. I just put your notes all over the place just so we remember. So on this triangle, we have X squared plus 4 squared equals 15 squared. Okay, so we know that. Ooh, my voice is cracking. So we've got X squared plus 4 squared equals 15 squared. Just from that, using our notes, setup shouldn't be too bad. So now I've got X squared plus 16 squared, 15 squared. What is that, Mr. G? Well, that's 225. Oh, I got ahead of myself. Erase that. I'm sorry. It's just X squared plus 16 equals 225. Then you subtract 16 on both sides. You want to get X squared equals, use your calculator if you need to, but you get 209. So then to get rid of the X or the squared, you got to square root both sides, right? So X equals the square root of 209. Now in this lesson, on all of these right triangles, if they are simply just triangles like this, like these whole 6 problems, I want all of your answers to be written as radicals, but they must be simplified like you hopefully did on your quiz. So the goal here, and this is the challenge, this is where you guys need to make sure you know how to simplify 209. Okay, so to do that, and maybe you can't, all right, maybe you can't, but you just got to look at 209 and see if there's any factors from this list. Does 209 divide by 4? No. Does 209 divide by 9? No. 16? No, 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 no. You can just keep on guessing or checking those. And 209 does not divide by any perfect square. So you cannot simplify this, so that's your final answer. You're done. It's square root of 209 feet. That's your answer. Very common ACT problems, guys. So square root of 209, that is the answer to number 1. Let's do a couple more. If you need to, rewind, watch it again. Different picture this time. Okay, so number 2. You have the picture, or you should, on your paper. If not, just draw it. I'll just draw it. It's only the second example, Mr. G. So there's our triangle. This is 7. This is x. This is 5 square root of 2. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did before. That's 90-degree angle. And we are going to do 5 square root of 2. And we're squaring all of that. So I'm going to put this all in parentheses squared. Plus 7 squared equals x squared. Again, Pythagorean Theorem, right over there. So now this is where you can't use a calculator, right? But we can still do this. 5 square root of 2 squared is just taking 5 square root of 2 times square root of 2, or 5 square root of 2, just like doing 7 squared is 7 times 7. So you're doing a 5 square root of 2 and multiplying it by itself. So this turns into 5 square root of 2 times 5 square root of 2 as like its own separate problem from there, and then plus 49 equals x squared, right? So this is just review from last lesson on multiplying and dividing radicals. So you have to do the outsides together, right? The numbers in front. So you got 25 square root of 4, 2 and 2 will give me that 4, plus 49 equals x squared. Now we should know 25 square root of 4. What is square root of 4? That is 2. All right, so this equals 2. So it's 25 times 2. So this right here is 50. Okay. And then we got 50 plus 49 equals x squared. 50 and 49 is 99, which equals x squared. So now, I got to square root both sides. Square root both sides. And the challenge is, can I divide square root of 99 by anything? And yes, I can. Again, if you're confused on how I got this 50 again, square root of 4 was 2. So I did 25 times 2 to get 50. Okay, so 50 plus 49, then I got 99. I square root both sides. So I got to break this down. So now I'm done with the Pythagorean Theorem stuff. Now I just need to break down square root of 99. So I'm going to do a little side work over here. Square root of 99, what can I divide 99 by out of that list? 9. Right? So this turns into square root of 9, square root of 11. What is the square root of 9? 3. So our final answer is 3 square root of 11 for my x, and that is in miles evidently. And that's my answer, because I can't break down 11 anymore. Okay? So the answer to number 2 is 3 square root of 11. Okay? If you need to, go back, watch that again. But that's really all we're doing. All right, so hopefully you see how Pythagorean Theorem and radicals can be merged together like pretty much all math concepts, which is why I like it. All right, so that's your class example. Let's see, guys. So we did 1 and 2 on the front together. Actually, we did these classwork problems, and then we did 1 and 2. How about this? I'm just going to give you the answers for 3, 4, 5, and 6, but you need to make sure that you understand how to get those answers. Okay, treat it just like in class. This is the time where you would pause the video and finish the front page of this document that I sent you. Okay, so number 3, if you do that correctly, you should end up getting square root of 157. 4, 5, 6. And make sure you label your answers. Okay, so it's going to be centimeters. Number 4, you should end up getting 8 square root of 3 centimeters. Number 5, you should end up getting 2 square root of 29. What is that? Inches. Then number 6, you should end up getting square root of 11, and that is inches. Okay? So that's what you should end up beginning, or what you should end up getting. All right. Final answers 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the front page of this. The front page of this document right there. Okay. So again, if you have questions on those, ask me. So that is class. Now we are going to move into the word problems, and then we're going to be done. Then you'll get your assignment. Okay, so let's move on to page 2, Mr. G. So you should have this in front of you, or you should at least be looking at it on a different screen. All right, but it says, and you have to draw pictures if you want to have a better chance of not making mistakes. Okay, so number 1, the bottom of a ladder must be placed 3 feet from a wall. So I'm going to draw a ladder. So again, this is number 1, word problems. Word problems just round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so here's our picture. The bottom of a ladder must be placed 3 feet from the wall. Here's my wall. Here's my ladder. I need to. Here's my ladder. Ladder's leaned up against the wall, so that is 9 degrees right there. So my ladder leaned up against the wall. The bottom of the ladder is 3 feet from the wall. So here's my wall, so if you need to, label it. Wall. 3 feet from the wall, so that's 3 feet. The ladder is 10 feet long, so this is 10 feet. Then it says, how far above the ground does the ladder touch the wall? Here's the ladder, touching the wall right there. How high is that? That's my x. Okay, so now you just go ahead, set that up, do Pythagorean Theorem, you're done. So x squared plus 3 squared equals 10 squared. Then just solve. Subtracted. Square root both sides. So x squared, square root of 91. If you type that in, just round everything to the nearest tenth. Right, nearest tenth right there. X is going to equal 9.5 feet. Okay, so I'm not really too concerned with this as much as what I am with making sure you know how to draw the picture. All right, so that's number 1 of the word problems. Again, Pythagorean Theorem. If I wanted to, I could have had you guys break that down, right? And see if you can break down square root of 91 as a simplified radical. You can't, but you know, it is what it is. So square root of 91 and 9.5 are the same thing. Last one for today's class, guys. So we're doing number 2. Number 2. A soccer field is a rectangle 100 meters wide and 130 meters long. Let's draw the soccer field. So 100 meters wide and then 130 meters long. So meters. So Coach Boda asks his players to sprint from one corner to the other corner diagonally across. So let's say all your players are over here. You start over there, guys. This is the football field or whatever. Coach Boda wants you to sprint from this corner to this corner, diagonal. That's your running path. That is what I'm asking you to find. What is the diagonal distance the players have to sprint? So that is your x, happens to be your hypotenuse, right? This is 9 degrees. So this is the triangle that I'm looking at. If you need to, shade that in, but that's my triangle. 100 is over there as well. So now you've got 100 squared plus 130 squared equals x squared. All right, and then 100 squared. What is that? 10,000 plus 130 squared. What is that? 106 or 16,900 plus x squared. Whoa, 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 Mr. G. Slow your horses. Equals x squared. All right, add those up. Then you're going to end up getting the square root of 26,900 equals your x. I skipped a step there, but that's okay. So then x, if you do that and round to the nearest tenth, your diagonal distance from there to there for Coach Boda's soccer players is x equals 164.0 meters if I round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so that is your final answer. And that is the class for today, guys. So hopefully that made sense. If you need to, pause at any point, right? Let's go back to my quote-unquote desk. And let's just clear everything up of what the expectation is. Just finish the rest of these problems. This is all review. Hopefully that goes super quick for you. It's all review. And then you have 6 problems like what we've just done. These problems, simplified radical form. Okay. I will go over all of these answers at the beginning of next class. Right here. Whoop. And then the challenge. I'm just curious to see if anybody gets the challenge right. So make sure you put these answers into Google Forms. I put a homework assignment on there, 17 required entries for your homework problems. Okay, otherwise, that is it. Have a great Holy Week, guys, as we are preparing for Easter. Easter is the most important. Really, without Easter happening, we wouldn't have Christianity, right? So it's kind of a big deal in the Christian world to make sure we take Easter seriously. Right. And then have a nice renewed Sunday of Easter Sunday once we get to that point. But I'm working ahead once again. Okay, so again, as always, guys, keep up the good work. If you have any questions, please ask me. And we'll just keep on keeping on. Have a great one, guys.